Hello, music listeners, underground enthusiasts, and anybody who participated in posting their Spotify Wrapped on social medias. Those of you with over 200,000 minutes logged, stop lying. You're not fooling anybody. You didn't listen to that much music. You couldn't have. Oh no, I left it playing overnight. I didn't actually listen to it. That's fine, but own up to it because some of you are not. Oh no, my Spotify Wrapped is so bad. You're the one that chose the music. You're the one that listened to it all year. You listened to it long enough for it to be on a yearly compilation, a yearly compiling of the music that you listened to. But Mel, you didn't post yours. Yeah, that's true. I didn't. So, oh, you're embarrassed. Your spot. Yeah, that's me. That's me. Anyways, we're a little bit behind on a weekly roundup list, so I'm going to do my best to give you a very good one and a proper one, but I do have some announcements to make before we get to that, before we get to the meat of things. One, I'm going to put an invite link to my Discord server in the description of this video. I have one. I promote it kind of intermittently, not super hard, but it's a fun community where we are very chill and talk about, music. Also, big thanks to everybody. My channel is now monetized, kind of. I don't have like the ad revenue thing yet, but I did hit like the sort of like first baby step of monetization, so now you can do super chats and stuff, which is kind of cool. But either way, it's a milestone that I am proud of and I'm very thankful for. Let's get to 1,000. Now that that's all out of the way, let's just talk about music. First track we're going to talk about this week is halfTrue and Suroki with Tired. Right away, this fits into this sort of soft and gentle indie EDM sound that I've been trying pretty hard to like nail down these terms and labels and descriptors that I think are appropriate for this sound because I like it a lot. But hey, some things just aren't meant to be boxed in. The ever so slightly saturated mix on the vocals gives them a super crisp air and they sound pretty great on the more damp percussion. Everything has this energy, but in terms of volume and texture, it remains fairly subdued and sort of bouncy in that regard. I love the occasionally pitched vocals. I think they add more variety to an already pretty dynamic track. It's got this loose and flowing electronic sound that shines in its ambient synths, bouncy drums, and these sugary sweet vocals, but I also do think that the writing is pretty good. On a song like this, I don't really think you need super in-depth or descriptive writing, but it matches the sonic themes of the track well, pairs well together, and I like it a lot. What can I help you with? What can I help you with? It's been a while since you've showed up in a video. Then we have Ruben with Talk, and this is a pretty sweet R&B track with splashes of this bossa nova influence that has seemed to slowly spread and infect throughout this area of underground pop recently, and I like it a lot. The drums impact with a lot of room space, and the guitar takes it to an even higher level with a sleepy wave of chords that float in the background rather than make themselves pretty directly known. And the vocal mix plays into the swirling ambience of melodies and overlapping layers with varying degrees of reverb and presence in the mix. It's a pretty and sweet mix, even if the vocals do tend to lose a bit of body and flow in some of the areas of the verse, but it's a romantic and dramatic, close to heartbreak track where Max's candy-coated singing is the shining element here. Josetta has dropped 333, a track that is 3 minutes and 33 seconds in length. I appreciate the commitment. On this track, Josetta takes ambient and folk and combines them into, it's ambient folk. I'm pretty obsessed with the instrumental on this track. The super clear and upfront guitar has this harsh strumming and plucking, highlighting pretty much every single note that is played, and it contrasts really well against the otherwise foggy ambience that dominates the production of the song, primarily in the form of this soft humming and vocalizations that fade into a hazy drone into the background. The dry vocal mix is also pretty complementary to the rest of the song, and Josetta sparingly brings in these super glossy background vocals that provide a bit of a shine to the track. In terms of sound design and aesthetics, it's one of my favorites this week. It's a lot of fun, and the songwriting on it is really, really great as well. All around, a pretty good song. Carlby has dropped Bite, and this is probably my favorite Carlby track in a while. Coming off of his last album, Midwest Vignettes, Carlby has sort of been hyping up this country sound and direction that he's going to take for his next project, and honestly, it works pretty well. Although that might sound like a bit of a sharp shift away from his Midwest emo and pop sound, when put into practice, it really isn't. The lead guitar plucking is a bit more twangy than it is slick, and the same goes for the acoustic backing guitar, but there remains elements of a more synthetic pop sound in the drums and in the shiny mix that the song has thanks to Hirosha, paired with the bold master from Anxiety Attacks. Jake Angel kills the instrumental though. Every part of it is so clear and so fun to listen to. It's one of his catchiest tracks, and it really is an interesting take on a more country-inspired sound with some great writing and, once again, such an infectious and catchy sound. And then we have xaev. I actually don't know how to pronounce this one. Sonance with thatcherblackwood. I get names wrong a lot. Put in the comments what the actual pronunciation is so I don't continue to make a fool of myself. This is a bit of a powerhouse of a track dominated by these intense and swirling melodies, super saturated and wide chords, explosive dubstep arrangements, and thatcherblackwood's pretty emotionally strained vocals as well. A good portion of this almost 5-minute song consists of these intoxicating bass lines and metallic melodies and sharp hits, but other sections, despite maybe still being pretty chaotic, they do give a little bit more room for a looser sound with some slick guitar riffs and and thrashy drums, giving the tiniest bit of wiggle room for Thatcher's vocals to break through. It's got 3 or 4 pretty concretely defined sections of the track, each with their own flair and focus, and overall come together to be just as impressive as it is fun to listen to. It's a pretty gorgeous track with both artists shining and making something really special. Zumtru has dropped I Know Nothing on My Own, and this is a saturated and dusty rock track, with every component living underneath this sort of fog that covers the entire song. The dark rhythm guitar pulses under the slightly drier drums that operate sometimes as staticky whispers, but then in other parts this pounding intensity. The instrumental on this track is stunning, and I love the muddy edginess of it, but Zumtru's vocals are also really great. I love the minimal and functional mix that plays into the already existing edge of the production, ranging from tired singing to the shouted and strained notes that build an energy over the track. Aesthetically, this track is a banger. Lyrically, this track is a banger. Instrumentally, this track is a banger. You get what I'm saying here. Guardin Flowars have dropped Tongue-Tied, and I love the plucky guitar on the beat here, and the trap percussion hits hard as hell. Shout out to all 3 producers for making an intense and wildly fun beat for these artists to perform on. Both Guardin and Flowars provide something different on this track in their performances, with Guardin's chorus having a delivery that seems to be this breathy mix of intimacy, but also maybe even anger. It's well written, and his singing sounds great and has a very high amount of clarity. And then Flowars has a much more wispy and flowing delivery as opposed to the stark enunciation of Guardin's delivery. If Guardin's delivery is occasionally breathy to accentuate his verse, then Flowars has a very breathy and very smooth delivery throughout. The writing and performance for both of these artists is great. They work really well together. This is a hit with a pretty insane replay value. Wishlane has dropped String Theory, and at just over 5 minutes, String Theory feels equal parts post-punk, synthwave, and pop. It is eclectic in its sound, and it's all the better for it. The crushed and compressed vocals in the verse sound great. They are just as moody and dramatic as the chucking bass line that lives underneath it, and the sliding and buzzing synth melodies that dance around everything else. Every bit of the production on this track is well controlled and blends beautifully with one another. It gets thrashy and distorted, but the vocalizations after the chorus and a lot of the beeping synth melodies break the track up with some much needed clarity. The entire song kind of feels like a highlight reel of Wishlane's strongest points. I really recommend this one. And to end things out, we have Lil Wet Wet with Toe to Toe Freestyle, or maybe frllstyle. I'm not really too sure. This song is comprised of 2 basic elements, boiled down. One being Homecoming Queen's minimal and ambient production that floats and gently beeps with a deep bass to tie everything together, and Lil Wet Wet's seemingly unending flow of bars. The glossy and piercing freestyle consists of some truly generational bars, which flow one right after the other with pretty much no room for air in between. It's a hazy and shiny track that is a lot of fun to listen to, has an incredibly fun mix, has incredibly fun production, and it gets more fun with each listen. Go listen. And that's going to do it for this week. I know that I've kind of been absent for 2 weeks in terms of posting videos, but I'm actually working on a lot of really fun things. I have some interviews coming up that I think are going to be a lot of fun. I have an album review that I have been trying to finish for quite a while now, but I got sick, and then I got, then I procrastinated because I got sick. It's you know how it goes. Most of you watching this are probably artists yourself. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, until then, thanks for watching. Catch me in the next video where I try my very best to not make a Christmas joke at the beginning. Goodbye.